Reclaiming the past, the urgent need for repatriation of colonial remains. The echoes of empire reverberate through the hallowed halls of British museums and universities, not in the form of glorious artifacts, but in the chilling presence of ancestral remains, the plundered legacy of colonialism and slavery. A groundbreaking report by the All-Party Parliamentary Group for African Reparations, APPGR, titled Laying Ancestors to Rest, shines a stark light on this enduring injustice, demanding the repatriation of human remains unjustly acquired and displayed. The report's findings are not merely academic. They resonate with the profound emotional distress felt by descendants, diaspora communities, and nations of origin across the African diaspora. The pain is palpable, a visceral reminder of the brutal history of exploitation and dehumanization. The report doesn't mince words. It argues forcefully that the possession of these human remains, often treated with breathtaking disrespect, constitutes a grave offense against human dignity. Imagine, the report urges, the outrage if the remains of British monarchs were similarly plundered and displayed in a foreign land. This isn't abstract conjecture. The report cites chilling examples: fetuses displayed as earrings, spines of children fashioned into handbags, thigh bones transformed into walking canes, artifacts of human suffering, grotesquely repurposed for the morbid curiosity of others. These are not objects. They are the irreplaceable remains of individuals, their stories and identities reduced to macabre curiosities. The report's central message is simple, yet profoundly powerful. This must end. The APPGR, chaired by MP Bel Raibiroati, advocates for sweeping legislative change. The report proposes criminalizing the sale or public display of ancestral remains without explicit consent, a crucial step in restoring dignity and respect. Furthermore, it calls for amendments to the Human Tissue Act 2004, urging its expansion to encompass remains exceeding a century old, a crucial legal framework for the repatriation process. The current act, in its present form, is woefully inadequate to address the unique ethical and legal challenges posed by these colonial relics. This inaction is not only morally reprehensible, but also legally insufficient to rectify the injustices of the past. The report implicitly challenges the very notion that these remains can be ethically held and displayed under current legislation. The report's impact extends beyond legal reforms. It amplifies the voices of those directly affected, providing a platform for their stories of grief, anger, and a yearning for closure. Zaki El-Salahi, a member of the Sudanese community in Edinburgh, recounts his shock upon discovering the remains of his ancestors in a Scottish institution. His experience, far from unique, underscores the deep emotional wounds inflicted by the continued presence of these remains. His account highlights a broader issue: the uncomfortable entanglement of academic institutions with the legacy of colonialism and slavery. The Battle of Omdurman in 1898 serves as a stark reminder of the brutality and disregard for human life that characterized British colonialism. The ease with which these remains were acquired speaks volumes about the prevailing colonial mindset of the time and underscores the imperative for their return. The report's impact transcends the mere return of physical remains. It represents a crucial step toward acknowledging and rectifying the historical injustices wrought by colonialism. It calls for a fundamental shift in how we understand and approach the past, moving away from a narrative of triumphalism to one of genuine reconciliation and healing. Repatriation is not simply about the return of bones. It's about the return of dignity, the restoration of stolen identities, and the healing of wounds that have festered for generations. It's about confronting the uncomfortable truths of our shared past and building a future based on respect, empathy, and restorative justice. The report's recommendations are not simply a call for action. They are a plea for justice, a demand for the restoration of human dignity, and a vital step toward a more equitable and just future. The silence surrounding this issue for far too long must be broken. The time for action is now. The descendants of those whose remains were taken deserve not only the return of their ancestors, but the acknowledgement and apology from those who profited from their exploitation and suffering.